They sit in the shiny towers, the brightest minds in technology, minds that once dreamed only of algorithms and screens, now wrestling with a deeper question. What's the point? They've written code that connects the world, built systems that track billions, but inside, they feel something's breaking. Not just a little, but something raw and terrifying. A burning disconnect between what they do and what they believe should be done. These people, who once chased the rush of innovation for its own sake, are leaving it all behind. Walking away from cushy paychecks, walking away from prestige, walking away from the hollow glow of screens that blind instead of illuminate. Why? Because there's a hunger in them that no big tech paycheck can fill. The hunger to build something that matters to the soul of the world. And this isn't just a story about individuals. It's a mirror held up to all of us who've ever wondered if there's more meaning, more impact, more truth beneath the surface of the everyday grind. If you watch this and feel that tug, that restless pulse inside, you aren't alone. Many powerful, brilliant people feel it too. The world we live in today? It's rigged to keep us ticking like cogs, parts of a giant machine designed to churn out profits, data, and distractions. But it isn't designed for brilliance. It isn't built for heart. It isn't structured for those who refuse to settle for the stories handed down to them. This is the cruelest trap, a world that promises freedom but fences it in with invisible walls. A world that tells us to be ourselves, yet rewards only the versions that fit the mold perfectly. Big tech, for all its wonders, has become a place where simplicity is swallowed by complexity, where creativity is smothered by metrics, and where the pulse of humanity is drowned out by the hum of servers. Here's the brutal truth. Many of the smartest people recognize this. They see the cost, the personal sacrifice, the ethical compromises, the slow death of purpose buried under ambitions measured only by growth charts and quarterly earnings. They don't just want to change the game, they want to rewrite the rules entirely. And that means stepping away, not toward the usual safe lanes offered by established companies, but toward a wild frontier, building social enterprises that put people first, that fuel hope instead of just profit, that create value measured in lives changed, not lines of code executed. Imagine waking up and knowing the work you do today will ripple into tomorrow's world, not because it attracts clicks or ads or investors looking for the next billion-dollar exit, but because it heals, it builds, it empowers. This is the vision pulling them away from the bright screens and into the messy, beautiful chaos of social entrepreneurship. Because social enterprise does something no tech giant can. It reconnects work with meaning. It takes the untapped genius of people and places it squarely on the altar of good, forging companies that exist not just to make money, but to make a difference. When you're fueled by that kind of purpose, everything changes. Decisions become sharper, challenges become invitations. The journey, no matter how hard, feels like home. But this path is not for the faint-hearted. It demands more than passion. It demands a radical unlearning from the lies we've been told by systems that claim to serve, but serve only themselves. The world is full of systems that promise freedom, but are cages built out of habit and fear. Social enterprises shatter those cages. To thrive here means to question everything: the rules, the norms, the so-called realities that keep the masses compliant. It calls for rebellion, yes, but not the reckless kind. It demands a precise kind of defiance, one that builds rather than destroys, unites rather than divides. It's about finding the few others who burn as you do, who'd rather burn brightly than fade quietly into the background. These founders and builders are the chemists of a new era, mixing old pain and fresh courage to create hope that's not naive, but fierce. They know that waiting for change is a trap. The future isn't coming to save us. The future comes because we make it. When the system fails to recognize the exceptional, these outliers create spaces where the extraordinary is not just welcomed, but necessary. Social enterprises are these spaces, autonomous networks of misfits, visionaries, and leaders who refuse to live borrowed lives. Here, brilliance isn't a threat. It's the cornerstone. Every failure, Every setback is just another step in a long game that lasts beyond lifetimes. This is the revolution, silent to most, but deafening to those who listen closely. It's the movement away from noise and chaos toward essence and clarity. A movement from sameness to the power of difference. In Building for Good, these individuals are connecting the dots that were never connected before, bridging divides, blending talents, transforming ideas into impact. And the magic lies not in scaling mindless numbers, but in weaving together a network where the rare few become the unstoppable many. They break the mold, not because they want to stand out, but because the mold was never big enough to hold them. For those watching, feeling the itch beneath their skin, the deep knowing that they were made for more, this moment is a call. Not to follow trends, not to seek validation, but to become sovereign over their own will. To practice freedom not as a word, but as a daily act of courage. To be patient, grinding day in, day out, knowing that real transformation isn't flashy but slow and steady, built on trust and deep alignment with others who share the same fire. This is a patience almost forgotten in a world obsessed with instant gratification and viral success. If one thing is clear, it's this. The smartest people aren't leaving big tech because they failed or gave up. They are leaving because they're waking up to the fact that true progress doesn't come from centralized power or massive algorithms, but from the edges, those places where discomfort lives, where consensus breaks apart, where real change sneaks in unnoticed. They know the road ahead is perilous and littered with doubt, but the alternative, continuing to serve a system that eats souls quietly, no longer tempts them. Instead, they want to build. Build with heart, with fire, with the kind of authenticity that changes lives and landscapes alike. This isn't a video about leaving something behind. It's about stepping into a new reality, one crafted by those who refuse to be silenced. It's about being part of something bigger that isn't a company, isn't a movement, but a living network of possibility where misaligned brilliance finds its perfect match. Where isolation turns into synergy, where misunderstanding transforms into unstoppable collaboration. And you, watching right now, are part of this story. Whether you realize it or not, the pull you feel towards something beyond the ordinary is the universe whispering your true mission. So don't look for easy answers. Don't settle for surface fixes. Start asking the hard questions, the ones nobody else dares to ask. Ask yourself who holds the power and who really benefits from how things are today. Then ask what you can build so that the next generation wakes up not to a crisis, but to a new dawn. A dawn where work and worth are the same thing. Where innovation serves humanity, not the other way around. Where you're not just a user or a cog, but a creator, a builder of worlds, a liberator of possibility. The ones leaving big tech aren't failures, they are pioneers. The ones building for good aren't dreamers, they are architects of the future. This moment, this decision to build beyond the old system, is the spark that will ignite countless others. And no matter how hard the journey gets, remember this. The system might have forgotten how to serve the exceptional, but the exceptional have never forgotten how to serve the world. That is strength. That is freedom. That is the future waiting for those brave enough to claim it.